This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com with a daily wrestling news update. I'm really getting sick of talking about the plane ride from hell. It's boring to me now. But Ric Flair put out another statement about it today, saying to clarify, and by the way, I'm quoting him on this. So, quote, to clarify, the helicopter, as it was called, is accurate. I wish I could blame it on youth, but it was a case of drinking too much and being inappropriate. I apologize for that and have countless times over the years. I condemn sexual assault in any way, shape, or form. I could and have written books, as have others, that have covered my transgressions. I've made some terrible decisions, but I've never forced myself on anyone in any way, period. End quote. So Ric Flair is admitting that he's done the helicopter trip on the plane ride from hell. And for anyone that doesn't know that, that's where I guess he gets naked, puts the robe on, opens the robe up, and spins his dick around like a helicopter. But he's denying, and I'll put this up again, these are actually the court documents, and this never went to court, so it's all hearsay. But these were the accusations, and Ric Flair was accused of actually, as we see here in Section C, defendant Flair grabbed plaintiff Doyle's hand and placed it on his crotch. One thing, and I'll mention it again because it keeps getting overlooked, in Section G, they did say defendant Runnels grabbed plaintiff Capellatano's arms repeatedly, asked if her breasts were real, and said, "You and me are going to fuck," and grabbed her rear end, rubbing his groin into her. So I guess this plaintiff, Capellatano, I don't know if she was on the dark side of the ring or not. Maybe it was the one flight attendant. But some fans were saying yesterday in the comments, "Oh, you're sticking up for Ric Flair, but you're trying to bash Dustin." No, I'm saying that documentary portrayed Dustin like, oh, the poor guy was heartbroken singing a love song to Terry Runnels over the airplane PA system, when in fact that wasn't all he did on the flight. According to the accusations, he was also accused of inappropriately grabbing a woman, which could be considered sexual assault. And again, this is all hearsay. There was no criminal charges filed. There was no criminal charges made. There was no civil decision made. It was settled. Nothing was proven in court. I'm not saying stuff didn't happen. It's clear this was a terrible flight from a flight attendant's perspective, but it is all hearsay, as they chose not to take it to court. They can make up any excuse they want, but had they wanted to, they could have filed criminal charges for such serious accusations, and they didn't. And Tommy Dreamer was pretty much destroyed and lost at least 2 jobs, has been suspended from 2 jobs over bringing up that this woman never pressed charges, basically. But he did also defend Flair. I'm not defending anybody. I'm saying that type of behavior is bad, but it happened 20 years ago, and nobody actually finalized anything in court about it. So it's unfortunate. And why do I bring up the Rhodes thing? Because I don't think it's fair that they went off on Flair on the documentary and Scott Hall as well, but they gave Dustin Runnels a pass on the groping of the flight attendants They didn't want to cover that. They just wanted to make it seem like, oh, he's the poor heartbroken guy singing. Now, is that because Dark Side of the Ring works closely with AEW and he has a good position in AEW? Who knows? But it wouldn't surprise me if at least Ric Flair sues Dark Side of the Ring over that documentary. Rob Van Dam also made a statement on Twitter, made a couple statements on the documentary that he was part of. He said, quote, "I haven't seen Ric Flair's dick," end quote. He said in another post responding to someone who asked if he saw Rick grab the flight attendant Heidi Doyle's hand and force her to touch his genitals. He said, quote, "I can confirm I didn't see that and I didn't say that. Creative editing will have people hearing it different ways," end quote. So there's no question that Dark Side of the Ring did do some creative editing on that, but I'm sick of talking about it. I'm just reporting it because it's in the news, but I'm really sick of reporting on it. I will get into the other news now. Raw last night did a 0.49 rating. Triple H made the first statement since his cardiac event, whatever the hell a cardiac event is. He said, quote, "I've been blown away by the outreach and support from so many people," end quote. TMZ has reported that Daphne Shannon Spurl, or I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing her last name, her death certificate confirms that she died via a gunshot wound to the chest. Sad situation with Daphne. Tomorrow morning at 8:30 a.m., I am going to be doing an interview with one of my trainers for pro wrestling, Jacques Rougeau, the Mountie, who is a former WWE Intercontinental Champion and numerous time WWE Tag Team Champion. He actually is one of the few people to have pinned both Hulk Hogan and Bret Hart. He is starting a new show called Wrestling Academy, and he's looking for wrestlers to participate in the show. He's had a lot of responses so far from Quebec, but he's looking for wrestlers from other places to apply to be on this Wrestling Academy show. He's looking for the best independent wrestlers. So we're going to find out more about this show tomorrow morning at 8:30. And if you want to apply, go to jacquesrougeau.ca and fill out the application form. Someone saying hello. Bill, I'll be able to go to Wichita because I'm flying to Wichita. It makes no sense that the rules for travel right now, Americans can travel to Canada if they're vaccinated and have a COVID test that shows they don't have COVID. Canadians can travel to the US via flying but can't drive. So the reason I could not cover the Philadelphia event at the ECW Arena last weekend was because I was planning on driving because it was a short drive for me. And to get a flight at the last minute just wasn't in my budget. And I do not have like a closest relationship with Battleground Championship Wrestling as I do with World Class Pro Wrestling. So that's the other reason. World Class Pro Wrestling, for one thing, they let me post all the matches from their events on the Hannibal TV, where Battleground Championship Wrestling was only going to let me post one of the matches. So it's worth the flight for that reason. Speaking of World Class Pro Wrestling, December the 11th at Southern Junction in Irving, Texas, the Blood Hunter will be facing none other than Carlito. The Von Erich boys are going to be on that event. Mick Foley is going to be there. QT Marshall is going to be there. Fuego del Sol is going to be there. It's going to be a huge card. And starting in December, World Class Pro Wrestling will be doing tapings in Southern Junction every single month. And it was announced that Kevin Sullivan and Eric Embry are going to be the bookers for World Class. So that's pretty exciting. Hello to these fans saying hello, Bill. Yeah, Justin Credible is not the most credible person. He's also an addict as well. JMF Spikes says he feels that the helicopter spin is going to become a new fad. I agree with that. That's all I'm thinking, is that everyone's going to be doing the helicopter spin now. Maybe not on airplanes, but for their wives and girlfriends and when they're drunk at parties. I could definitely see that happening. Robert, yeah, there's conflicting reports about people walking out during the Charlotte segment last night. There's conflicting reports that anywhere between 700 and 1,500 walked out. I didn't see the match and I wasn't in the arena. I wouldn't even go in the arena for a WWE event. That's how little interested I'm in. So I can't actually comment on that. Who's Capolatano? That, I guess, was another flight attendant on the plane. I guess maybe only one flight attendant participated in the dark side of the ring. Obviously, anyone that's been on flights knows there's always more than one flight attendant. Donnie saying hi. Polar Bear brings up, on Dark Side, they made it seem like Dustin rescued the flight attendant. Oh, yes. Yes, Dustin, who apparently grabbed the other flight attendant, pulled her in, and rubbed his dick on her, according to the court accusations. I'm not saying any of that happened. It's all hearsay. But if you're going to go after people in it, go after everyone equally. Don't leave out stuff about the people you like. John Bush likes me. Thank you. Appreciate it. And everyone that hasn't subscribed, please subscribe. Mark Allen says, just like Ross said, they're made men. I will also know, I know for a fact on Jim Ross's podcast, and I do shoot interviews, I know who's credible and who's not. Jim Ross, his memory has gotten foggy with times, and he does tell false stories here and there. I can tell you that. I'm not saying what he said about the plane ride from hell is false, but I do know other stories he has told in the past are false. For instance, he told one story about Rene Dupree that was clearly about Rene Dupree's tag team partner, Sylvain Grenier, and he got them confused and told it like it was Rene and completely buried Rene, when everything about the story indicated that he was talking about Sylvain Grenier. And when I asked Rene about it, Rene said it was Sylvain. So Jim Ross has got some things mixed up here and there. Joe says they shouldn't pick and choose who gets punished. AEW still has Dustin on TV. It's true. Why didn't Jim Ross get fired for letting all that shit go on? That is a good question, to be perfectly honest with you. As head of talent, as a person that runs their own wrestling company, if I put someone in charge of talent on a flight full of Great North Wrestling wrestlers and they got that out of control, I would have fired the head of the talent. I really would have. But you know what? We all know Jim Ross likes to drink, and this is just hearsay. Jim Ross always talks about drinking mules. You can see at the Cauliflower Alley Club, the last one that I recorded back in 2019, he got more tipsy as the night went on the second night. It was actually quite funny, but it wouldn't surprise me if Jim Ross had consumed a few cocktails of his own, not just a few cocktails, not to do a pun there or anything. Someone says the dark side producers are lame. Someone says 3 boost carts, ha ha ha. And again, if you're the head of talent, are you going to really let your talent consume 3 boost carts? That's the thing. What do I know about 2.0? They were independent wrestling jobbers, and now they are WWE and AEW jobbers. Jeremy Prophet and Mike Bailey are 2 wrestlers that are way better than them. And I don't even know Mike Bailey, only used him once, but they know somebody, probably Evil Uno, who's also from Canada, another guy who there's a lot better. Here's the thing. Let me ask you fans this, and you guys can comment. There's Rene Dupree, who all you remember, and he's in the best shape of his life right now. And then there's guys like Evil Uno and 2.0 that have jobs in the main company, yet Rene Dupree, who's been wrestling since he was 14 and is like 37 now, jacked, he doesn't have a job. Yet 2.0, who are little guys that don't even look like they work out, and Evil Uno is not that tall and is basically fat, and he's got a job over Rene. So there's a lot of politics in wrestling. So there you go. There's a lot more. Mickey, somebody's talking about Jesus. My God. Mickey says Pat Patterson's stories are worse than Ric Flair on a plane. Why not go after him? There's a lot of unfairness. Some of this seems like a witch hunt to me. Some of this stuff, not all of it, but some of it, not necessarily on the plane ride from hell. But it seems like you're guilty until proven innocent a lot of the times these days. And it sucks because even the people that prove themselves innocent never get the same publicity as when they're accused. So it's unfortunate. Roy said, do a Google search. You will see the flight attendant took the settlement. Stevie TV said they should do a dark side on X-Pac shitting in people's bags. The Bandit says it's a freaking witch hunt. And for people that don't understand that we're referring to there is in the old days, you could accuse someone of being a witch and they basically be burnt at the stake. They would have no legitimate defenses. Just search the movie about the witch hunter. The Witch Hunter with Vincent Price. You'll learn a thing or two about witch hunts. But yeah, I don't really care, to be honest. I hope this is all we hear about from Dark Side of the Ring. They are doing a Canyon episode next. Never found him entertaining. He bored the hell out of me. So on that note, have a great night.
Thank you for watching the Hannibal TV. Please like this video if you enjoyed it and click the subscribe button to not miss any of our latest shoot interviews, match videos, or news updates. Support us on patreon.com for $1.99 a month